Hello everyone, hi. It is it's been a while, and it's been a while of me trying to set this up. I'm recording in my dresser, and there's a lamp behind the camera, and I'm filming on a book because I am heavily unprofessional. So different scene, different look. There's actually books. Oh, hello. Different scene, different looks. There are actually books behind me. But as you can tell from the title of this video, this is going to be a little mini review of A Heart So Fierce and Broken, which is also the new title of my heart because this book was fucking terrible. I already did a review on this on my blog, and I kind of want to get a video out here on this anyways, as I did one for A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which also got these copies too. So these are all my children. They're cute. The first two are good. The second one is not. Wait. The first one is good. The second one is not. But if you follow me on Twitter, then you probably saw that I really did not like this. I rated it 3 stars, which actually isn't bad. But I rated this one 5. So no, it's not necessarily a bad rating. But when I completely adored this one. Anyways, if you have not... See, this is why I shouldn't carry books with me, because I'm always like swapping. If you have not read this or know what it's about or don't want to be spoiled, definitely do not continue watching this video. I'm going to spoil this book, but I'm not going to spoil this one. My back is hurting so bad, but I'm not going to spoil this one, so you don't have to worry about that. Please hit that exit button if you haven't read it, or if you don't want to get spoiled. I do have a review on this. It's like 3 videos down from here, so if you want to go watch that, go ahead. But yeah, let's get into it. So, after the events of A Curse So Dark and Lonely, if you... I'm assuming you have read A Curse So Dark and Lonely, or know at least what happens. If you are going to continue watching this video, the beginning of this book, it starts off immediately, or maybe like a couple of months after A Curse So Dark and Lonely. Ren breaks the curse. He's no longer the beast. His kingdom is falling apart. Harper stays in Emberfall with him, and Gray finds out that he actually is the heir to the throne. Oh, this book is told from Gray's point of view, as well as a new character. Her name is Liamara. She's literally pointless. Essentially, this whole book is about Gray saying he doesn't want to take the throne, and Ren trying to find the rightful heir to the throne to kill him. Ren feels threatened. He doesn't want to lose his people, but when they find out that he ain't the real king, they are upset and they want him gone. So Ren, of course, tries to kill this heir to the throne, his brother, but it turns out to be his best friend who has been living with his whole entire life, which leads to a lot of conflict and honestly leads to a really good plot. I think this book had a really good plot. It was just executed so poorly. Yeah, so pretty much the whole book is about Ren trying to find Gray, Gray trying to run away from Ren, and this new bitch Liamara, who I do not like. If you remember from the first book, there's a people called Still Shallow who are trying to take over Emberfall, and Liamara is the princess to the queen. Well, she's the daughter to the queen of Still Shallow. Karis Lurin is the queen. She wants to come and meet Ren to offer a peace treaty between the 2 kingdoms after she tried to literally kill all his people in the previous book. Homegirl's crazy, don't know what's up with her, but Ren doesn't take the bait. He's like, nah, it's not happening. Like, you tried to kill us, please exit stage left. This is my right. I need my call. And Liamara believes that she can bring peace between them, so she tries to meet with Ren, and then that's pretty much her whole... That's her storyline. She's trying to bring peace between Emberfall and Still Shallow. She's dumb. So she's trying to bring peace between Emberfall, Still Shallow. That's pretty much the whole reason she's here. I don't understand. I literally cannot explain to you guys why she's here. It doesn't make sense. She didn't need her own POV at all. If anything, she could have had a couple of chapters at the end, and she could be in the next book, but she definitely did not need to be in this book. The reason A Heart So Fierce and Broken falls so short is because the execution for everything is horrible. Ren in this book is painted out to be the bad guy. Ren is the villain in this. After, in this book, we spent hundreds of pages of him trying to become better and get rid of the curse, only for him to be treated like complete shit in this book and have one of the worst character arcs I've ever experienced. If anything, Ren and Gray needed POVs in this book. Not Gray and Liamara. It needed to be Ren and Gray, which Ren doesn't have any point of views at all until the very, very end. And it's like, we could have been being in his mind the whole time, because since he is used as the villain character in the story, we don't get to see his downfall at all. We maybe get to read a couple of sentences of what's going on with him, but since the book is not from his point of view, we don't see him, and it's like, what were you thinking? Like, literally, what was going on? Really, my biggest issue with this is the fact that there's no character development, no character arcs. It's just, by the way, this person is like this now, and you just need to accept it, which is entirely unacceptable when you have a 500-page book that is half of a character who is so unimportant to the storyline that she doesn't need her own POV. And at the same time, the first book was about Harper. Homegirl's in it maybe like 4 or 5 times for a couple of paragraphs, and that's it. Which I understand to a point, but yet again, why is Liamara in this book so much when she doesn't need to be? This suffers so hard from second book syndrome. So going into this book super excited about seeing my favorite characters again from A Curse So Dark and Lonely, and then Harper and Ren not really even being in the book was really aggravating and really heartbreaking. That's what the author chose to go down that road, and it ain't it, Chief. It's not it. It's not doing nothing for the story. I will give her props though, because the plot is actually good. The storyline is good. Like I said, the execution is not. The lack of character development, the lack of main characters even being in the book. I look at it and I'm disappointed and I want to cry, because I had so much hope for this. I ended up reading this all in one sitting, because I will give Bridget Kemmerer this. She has a way of writing books where it's like, I need to know exactly what's happening, so I can't put the book down. The same thing happened in A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I read that book in one sitting as well as this one. So, I mean, she doesn't write bad stories. I think there's a lot of room for improvement in this, especially since this does not come out until January 7th of 2020. So a lot of editing can go into this, like a lot needs to go into it. So that's why I gave it 3 stars, because the plot is good. I did finish it in one sitting, and there's a lot of time to fix what's wrong. I have a very dear friend of mine who also just received an arc, and she read it and she agreed with me on everything. And I'm not saying that my opinion is like the opinion of the book. I'm just saying to a lot of people it's apparent that this suffers very hard from second book syndrome. And I said a lot of people, my other friend read it. I know a couple of other people too who have experienced this travesty. My girl Mika had to sit there through FaceTime with me for probably about 10 hours while I read this, and she's a big fan of A Curse So Dark and Lonely. She's the reason I read the book in the first place. I didn't really hold back on what I was saying while I was reading the book, so she knows exactly what's going on, and she doesn't necessarily approve of it either. I think this could have been great if it weren't for the fact that, as I've already said a million fucking times, character development needs to be worked on, and Liamara needs to go. But also, one last thing before I go is, where are the brown people? They're not in this book. Bridget, she did a good job in this one. I mean, I think there was maybe like 2 black people in this book. Maybe. That's stretching it. The main character in this is disabled. She has cerebral palsy, and there's a gay couple in this. One of them is a person of color. He's black. But in this, homegirl said, fuck people of color. She said, I'm gonna give everyone creamy pale skin. She did. I'm pretty sure every new guard we met, every new royal we met, every new innkeeper we met had creamy pale skin or tan skin, which tan skin is not brown skin. Tan skin is what white authors use to describe white people who have been out in the desert for too long. Or are you going to write a book in 2019 or 2020 and not include people of color in your book? Like, what is going on in your head? That's some Sarah J. Maas shit right there. But even she learned in Tower of Dawn to include that people of color are real and we are in the world. She remedied that. I'm gonna wait for you to remedy this. So hopefully by the time this actually comes out, she realizes that, you know, there are a lot of things that need to be fixed in this. I'm gonna say this. I'm not one to care if it's like a lot of white people. I've grown up reading books featuring all white cast my entire life. Like, it's normal for us to be put to the side so white people can take the forefront. But don't write YA fantasy in 2020 or 2019 and make them only white. Like, do you not see how wrong that is? Like, it's not cool. Like, a lot of your readers are going to be people of color. there's a lot of people of color in the book community. They're going to pick up this highly anticipated sequel and realize that there's only white people in this book until the very end. There's this girl, she almost dies. She's black and she's poor and she's in there for like maybe 3 sentences. That's not it. That's not cool. I'm getting angry because it's this. I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. This could have been an amazing book if it had. I just really smacked myself in the fucking face with this. This could have been an amazing book if it weren't for the fact that it suffers from inclusiveness. There's a lesbian couple at the end. Ooh. This is, oh my god, don't even get me started on this, of how white authors are so fast to include LGBT people in their books, but they say fuck brown people. But anyways, yeah, this comes out January 7th, comes out in a while. I know this review is hella early, but just be careful when you're going into this. Expect a white cast, expect character development to not be there. It is a good storyline though. It still is a good story. I'm definitely going to read book 3, and I'm definitely going to reread this once the final product comes out. Spit just flew out of my mouth. Wow, that's disgusting. But I'm definitely going to read this when the final copy comes out, just so I can see exactly what has changed, if anything has changed. If you want to read more into what, well, I mean, no, because everything I talked about in my review, I talked about right here. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming out. I know it's been a while since I've reviewed. I am currently reading an arc right now that I am vlogging my experience for, so that will be coming out sometime next week. Life has been going crazy, but I wanted to get this review out there. I did tab quite a few. I mean, there's some good parts in here, but overall, nothing sticks with me like A Curse So Dark and Lonely did. I think this is a phenomenal book. If you haven't read it, yet, why are you here? Oh yeah, guys, thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching. I love y'all, and for now, adios.